You're listening to the Spark Your Light podcast, where my mission is to help you create a life that sparks the light inside of you. And this is episode number 302, Declutter Your Digital Life with Amanda Jefferson. Amanda is a tech and productivity coach. She's been featured in all sorts of national outlets. She is leading a movement in professional organizing and decluttering, especially digitally, which I love because I think I'm pretty good at decluttering my space, but I'm not so good at decluttering my digital space. And that's something that I think so many of us struggle with. And I'm all about reducing the mental load so that we can focus on the things that spark our light. And that's why I wanted to have Amanda on the show today. So welcome to the Spark Your Light podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I love it. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got to what you're doing today. I'd love to start there.
Yeah. It's a wild up and down valleys. And so I had a big job as an executive director of a nonprofit in Philadelphia. And, we were taking pictures with the Philadelphia Eagles with the big checks, and I was making speeches and galas and working and doing really beautiful, amazing, inspiring work. And I was completely burnt out because at the same time that I was doing one of the most rewarding and challenging jobs of my career, I was also doing the other most rewarding and challenging job of my life, which was I had just had my baby. And so I was working this big job, having a commute of like 2 hours a day, back and forth. And while I loved it, I also knew that something had to give. And I had a little secret, which was that I had always kind of wanted to be a professional organizer. Like I just felt this pull to, like, whenever I was stressed out, I'd be like in the linen closet, like just like I can make order out of my towels. And so I embarked on this secret mission to see, could I like make a run at this? I hired a business coach. I made the business plan, and then I got word that Marie Kondo was going to be training a class of certified consultants to help people spark joy in their lives and in their homes. And so I went for it, and I went up to New York and got trained by Marie Kondo, and I found my people, and I fell completely in love. That was almost 10 years ago now. So I worked in people's homes, helping them to declutter and decide what sparks joy for about 6 years. But then I kind of discovered that there was this elephant in the room, which was all of our digital stuff. And it just kept coming faster and faster. And even the most organized people that I knew were buried in emails and photos and files. And I'm very techie. I love tech. So I decided to transition from helping people declutter their homes to helping them declutter their digital lives. So I've been doing that for about 2 years now, and I totally love it.
I love it. So when Amanda and I were talking about this episode and what we wanted to do for it, she suggested that we could do a little digital declutter of my life because probably so many of you have similar problems to me, and it can give you kind of an idea of like real tangible solutions. So like what kinds of questions would you ask me if we were to be doing a little digital declutter?
Yeah. Okay. So I usually talk about there are 5 tech traps.
Okay.
And so normally people they are having problems with these areas. So I'll tell you what the tech traps are.
Great.
Okay. So number 1, and it's an acronym. So T, thousands of emails. R, random files everywhere. A, awkward password management. P, photo overload, and S is stuck on the tech learning curve. Like, there's probably like a billion things that your tech can do, but you just like don't really know how to do it. So if you had to pick, I mean, a lot of people are like all of the above.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick, usually what I'll do with my clients is say, okay, what's the top? Let's start there.
Yeah.
And then work our way down. So what would you say for you is the most challenging?
The photos. Wait, did you say something about photos?
Photos, yeah. Photo overload. That's the P.
I think that's the top.
Yeah.
The other ones are the passwords for certain.
Mm-hmm.
The emails, I'm pretty good at like going through them, but it's more so they take up too much space, and then my computer constantly like doesn't have any space on it. So like probably once a month I have to like try to delete emails, text messages, because I have Mac, so I have all my texts on there.
Yeah.
And my computer's like 10 years old, probably need a new one soon, but it's still hanging in there.
Yeah.
We talked about this actually.
We did, yeah.
So, yeah. Haven't changed it. We talked about this probably a month ago. I was telling Amanda that my computer's kind of starting to go. And she was like, you need to get a new one. They're so fantastic.
Yeah, I know. It's like getting a new car. It's like all of a sudden like, whoa, these are so great now. Yeah. So, okay. So it's the photos you said. Yeah, because you have a new baby. And so it's like you want 600 pictures of him like eating spaghetti. Because they're all adorable and you can't possibly delete any of them.
And I never take the time, like whenever I am getting a person to take photos for me and they take like 10 pictures, I rarely ever go in, take the time to delete 9 and pick the best one. So I have like so many repeats and it's just like, and then working, I have so many like random screenshots of things and it's just like, oh my God.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yes.
So I don't even look at them.
Yes.
I mean, I do look at my pictures, but like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think with photos too, I always like to ask people like, what's the end game? Like, what are we trying to work towards? Like, are you the type of people that just wants to be able to find a photo when you're looking for it? Or would you really like to be able to like have photo books or?
Okay, I have a really clear end game. I'm glad you asked this. Okay. I want to be able to open my photos for whatever reason I'm opening them and not feel anxious looking at like these random screenshots or like 7 different pictures of the same one that weren't deleted.
Yes.
That's just like, ooh, like the same way I want to open my linen closet and it's organized.
Yes, exactly. Okay, beautiful. I love that. Okay, so my number 1 tip for you would be, and you said you have an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's an app called the Cleaner Kit app that you can get for your iPhone. It's fantastic. You basically, it'll open it up, it'll scan your photo library, and it'll say, okay, we're ready to clean up now. And it'll go in and it'll be like, here's all your screenshots, and it'll show you all your screenshots.
Wow.
And you could literally just say delete all or pull out the ones that you need. It will say, here's all the blurry ones, delete those. Here's all the duplicates, delete those. And then the thing that will really be helpful for you is that it'll say, here's all the similar photos. We think this is the best one. Can we delete the other ones? And you say yes.
Love it.
And the other thing that I really like about it is that you can go month by month. So I think it's really overwhelming for people when they're like, I have 18,000 photos. But it'll be like, okay, let's look at January 2025 and there's 300 photos.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's reasonable. And it even has like a Tinder effect to it where it's like swipe left to keep, swipe right to delete or whatever. So you can just, if you're sitting there and you've got some extra time to kill, you're like, I'm going to go through January. Left, right, left, right, left, right. And you're done. And then like, oh, that was fun. Let's do February. And you get to feel that momentum. And so that's my number 1 tip for you.
I love it. That's such a good tip. I'm definitely going to try it.
Yes.
I'd love to talk about some of the other areas just in case listeners
For sure.
feel like they're struggling in the other areas. So we talked about passwords being also another issue. My issue is that, first of all, on the iPhone thing, it tells me like every password has been stolen, hacked, like even like it's literally like all of them. Important ones I will address, like, oh, my banking password has been hacked. I need to fix that. But if it's like my login to like, I don't know, something so random, like my rewards at Sweetgreen, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't have the time to go in and change my password.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what is your password? Stored in all different places, probably the common problems.
Exactly. And where do you keep your passwords? Do you keep it in like the iCloud keychain where it like asks?
I keep a lot of them in that, especially when it automatically does it for me. That's great. But then like sometimes I'll randomly like write it in a note on my phone or whatever, like especially if it's older and the iCloud wasn't doing that, I won't like add it in.
Right.
And sometimes I worry that the phone, it won't save. It's like, want us to make a strong password? And I'm like, is it actually going to save this? So I'll like copy and paste it somewhere just in case it doesn't.
Yeah. So I think passwords can be tricky, especially if people have, like, I'm a big fan of going all in on one ecosystem. So like having everything Mac so that like if you are saving your passwords in the Mac world, then it's also on your computer. And you have a Mac, right? Yeah. So that's good. Yeah, I think the thing is that the hackers are getting better and better. The identity thieves are getting better and better. So the smarter we can get, the better. So yes, those like strong passwords that are 20 characters and they're all gobbledygook, those are amazing. And the 2-factor authentication, even though it's annoying, it's super necessary, right? I think the problem is that if somebody steals your rewards password at Sweetgreen and it's your dog 123 4, and it's the same password that you use for your bank and your email and your Facebook, then they have everything.
Yeah.
So my favorite app, it's called 1Password. So the number 1 and then password. And it's fantastic. And I really like it because it doesn't really matter if you have a Mac or a PC or an iPhone or an Android. It just works across everything. And it will do all of these gobbledygook 20 strong, character strong passwords. And, it's very seamless. It does have a bit of a learning curve. A lot of my clients, they hate me in like the first month because they're just like, it's so hard and I don't know where my password is and is this working and all of that. But then once you get in the hang of it, it's like smooth sailing.
Okay, maybe I'll try it.
Yes.
I love that you have all these like softwares, and it's funny because like we're decluttering our digital lives by using like other digital tools, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, and I think the thing that is surprising for people sometimes about digital stuff is that I don't always like the all-in-one stuff, like because 1Password does passwords really, really well. So you kind of go all in on that one. So it may be more tools, but they're tools that are doing that one specific job really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it reduces the total tools probably. If we're like using the iPhone ones on the iPhone, but the Chrome passwords when we're on Chrome, or you know what I mean? It reduces the different places. Where is this password?
Exactly. And that's one of the things people also have to know about when they install something like 1Password. Apple's going to start fighting. Chrome's going to I know the password. So you have to learn how to turn all of that off so that 1Password is the boss.
Wow.
Yes.
This is a lot.
I know. That's why my clients sometimes, whenever, there's a lot of things that you can kind of learn to do on your own. But with my clients, I'm always like, let's do the password thing together.
Yeah.
Because we have to go in and turn this off and that off and all of it. And it's the whole thing.
Yeah. I love that. What about for someone who says like, what was the first one? The
thousands of emails is the T.
Yes. Because I do have thousands of emails.
Yeah. Now, where do you look at your emails? Because you said you're running out of space on your computer. Do you look at them in like the Mac mail?
Yes. And my iPhone mail app.
Okay. Is it a Gmail account?
Yeah. It's like Google Workspace for like a domain.
But you look at it through your Mac mail and you prefer to do that instead of going to like gmail.com type of thing.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah.
But I could change it. Like I'm not.
Right. I usually recommend like going and like doing it from actual Gmail.
Why?
It just has so much more functionality. Like there's just so many more bells and whistles inside of Gmail that you can take advantage of that you can't take advantage of in Mac Mail. So for example, like in Gmail, you can change it to something called priority inbox, which I really love, which I have ADHD, so I need everything to be like in buckets.
Yeah.
So you can put it in basically when you look at your inbox, instead of it just being one big blob of like, I have no idea what all of this is, it divides it up into important and unread, starred, action needed, and everything else.
Okay.
And so all of a sudden, every day, you can just get like a much clearer picture, and you can train it with these little importance flags of like, when this comes in, this is important. When this comes in, it's not important. And it'll start to get a lot smarter. So you can just do a lot of things like that, and rules and filters and a lot of just bells and whistles that you can't get inside of like a Mac mail.
Yeah. It's interesting you talk about the important thing because I feel like I flag a lot of stuff, which is great because I'll come back to it and I know how to come back to it, but I never rank the flags.
Yeah.
So I think even just doing that would be a huge step.
Yeah.
Of like, this is most important. This is something I need to respond to, but it's not important.
Yes. And actually Gmail, and I just discovered this yesterday. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't know this. There's even like, there's stars, but then there's even other things. There's like little exclamation points and little question marks and little things like that. Like, oh, I have a, so there's a lot that you can do.
Okay. I'll try it.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So that was, can you go through all of them?
Okay.
Again?
T was thousands of, I had to be very creative with this acronym.
I love it.
T
so
was
good.
thousands of emails. R was random files everywhere.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
Okay. How are you with your files?
I'm pretty good. I have folders and I put them in folders.
Okay.
But I'd like to hear about it.
And where do they live?
On my iCloud.
On your iCloud.
And, we also have some, I say we because like Richie and I share a lot of files, especially if it's for like our, businesses that we own together.
Yeah.
And we have those ones on Google Drive. And sometimes I like Google Drive over I like Google Docs over Microsoft Word. I don't know why. I just sometimes like it better.
Yeah.
So I use Google Docs a lot too.
Yeah. Totally fine.
So Drive or iCloud if it's like a Microsoft.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Or Canva. That's right. So there
Right.
are kind of files everywhere in some sense. But I do feel like it's relatively organized.
And so if you need to look for a file, you feel confident that you could pretty easily find it.
Yeah. Like I know which is going to be on. Like I know that if I have a contract I'm signing, it's a PDF. It's going to be saved to my computer to.
In a certain folder, and you know
Exactly.
the folder that it's in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I know if we're doing like we have a file for our budget. I know that's in a shared Google sheet because we're both editing it.
Yes. Perfect. Yeah. And I think like these days, you have to have a Google Drive. Like you can't not have it. Just I have both. I have Google Drive and then I have Dropbox. I think the most important thing when it comes to files is making sure that they're on the cloud. A lot of people don't know if their files are on the cloud or not. I always joke that like I want you to be able to throw your laptop in the river, so that like we throw your laptop in the river and everything that you have is on the cloud and you're totally fine.
Yeah.
But some people don't know, like, well, is my stuff on OneDrive? Is it on iCloud Drive? Is it on Dropbox? Like, where does it live? So kind of figuring that out first. Then having, your really clear like folders, and then always just doing your future self a favor. And, a lot of times like it'll be like download, save, and you're just like, okay, click. And you have no idea where it ended up, what it was named. So taking the 3 seconds to be like, okay, this is 2025.05.11 contract for XYZ speaking engagement.
Yeah.
And I am going to click here and I'm going to navigate to the exact folder and I'm going to put it in that folder.
Yeah.
Right. Or if it's a screenshot or whatever it is, making sure that all your screenshots are going into a screenshots folder instead of just random desktop places. So a lot of times it's just really taking those 3 seconds to make sure, is this in a clear folder and is it named correctly and is it in the cloud?
What do you recommend for old files? Because I think that's one place that probably a lot of people struggle. I just move them to a folder that says old. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I go through it and think like, okay, this is really old and I'm never going to use this again. Or other things I'm like, I'm probably going to need this forever, but it's old. It's not like relevant right now. Like it's my first book.
Right.
I don't need the Word doc with all the text, but like I don't need to see it every day, but I can't delete it.
Right. Yeah. I love the idea of having an old or an archive and just getting it out of rotation.
Archive sounds so much better. I should change it to that.
Old works too, though. It's like whatever works for your brain. You know what I mean? So you can call it old, call it archive. And I really love recommending that to people for both emails and files. If you're completely overwhelmed with just like a ton of stuff that's in rotation, just put it all in archive. And when life calms down, you can go back in and you can, again, sort of bite size, be like, I'm going to set a timer for like 25 minutes, see how many files I can get through. And typically you'll get some momentum and you'll get in the zone and you'll just kind of keep going, but there's no harm unless, I think the trouble is like if you're getting yelled at that you're running out of storage.
Yeah, that is my problem.
And then it's like, pay the extra money and you're just like, okay, pay. That's what they are hoping that you'll do.
Yeah. I feel like I do that on the iPhone. I don't even want to tell you how much we pay per month for our iCloud. It's really high. I have my mom on it too, and I just don't have the heart to tell her to delete photos. Sorry if you're listening, Mom. I did tell her once, and it's just an untamable beast at this point.
Yeah, right.
So I just
is there something above a terabyte? As there is the little
I just pay it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
It's crazy.
Well, you're also like in a really busy time of life.
Yeah.
So I think there is something to be said for just like pay for extra storage.
Convenience.
Exactly. I mean, if it's not like.
And it's reasonably priced.
Right. We're talking about like pennies a lot of times, I think. So I think that's a time where I'm not like, what? You're paying $2.99 a month for, it's like, it's fine.
I love it.
But if it's stressing you out, like, all this stuff, and like that's the higher cost. It's not the $2.99 a month. It's the I can't find this photo. Like, it's stressing me out.
So what I'm hearing from you is that a lot of the decluttering your digital life, because it could feel so overwhelming. There's so many things to focus on. What do I even start with decluttering is what causes stress in your day-to-day life. Like when you are trying to do something, what is like, oh, this is stressful.
Correct. So when I work with my clients, I use something called the Indigo method, and that's kind of the process that we use to go through. So the I is identify your pain points, right? So that's like
Yeah.
what we just kind of did. Okay, here's the tech traps. Which one is causing you? Really, when we focus in on what's causing you the most friction. So then the N is nail down your game plan. So, okay, what's causing you the most friction is passwords and then files and then emails. So that's our game plan, right? And then the D is like, let's declutter. So let's
Yeah.
go in and do a massive declutter of those files or a massive declutter of your email just to kind of get you back to like a better baseline.
Yeah.
And then once we do that massive declutter, the I is like implement smart systems. Okay, so now we can figure out, it's kind of like if you're decluttering a house, like declutter first, and now we're going to go to the Container Store and get your cute bins and your labels and all of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so we're going to be implementing those smart systems. And then the G is, I'm going to be guiding them the whole way through this whole process. And then the O is optimize your tech. So the O is when like the rubber really hits the road, when you get to figure out all the cool, amazing things that your tech can do that you did not know that it can do. And that's where I really, especially for women and women business owners, like teaching tech how to be your personal assistant.
Yes.
Because these like supercomputers come in these beautiful white boxes and you just get it out and it's like, good luck. But we don't know how to use, 95% of the really cool things that they can do. So that's like where I'm like, oh, okay, now that we've got everything decluttered, we've got all these smart little systems. Now I'm going to teach you how to boss your tech around like it's your assistant.
I love that. And to be honest, like I would have called myself someone who's like comfortable with tech, familiar with tech. I mean, I'm only 30. I grew up with a lot of technology. I got an iPhone when I was, I think, a junior in high school. But I will admit that I only started using AI in my business like seriously this year.
Yeah.
And I just can't even believe how many years of like hours and hours of work I would do when like it can spit something out for me in 10 seconds, or how much money I wasted on like hiring people I thought I needed to hire, who I did and who I later let go because it was very expensive and it wasn't like making sense for what we needed.
Yeah.
When like technology can do it for me. So I think like sometimes we think like, oh, I'm good, but actually like there's so much to explore.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I equate it a lot of times like Gmail, for example. It's this smart assistant that you've hired and it's like waiting in the conference room, like, train me. And we're just like, leave me alone. I don't have time to train you. And then we get mad that it's not doing what we want it to do. I mean, even just something like that important flag that I was talking about, that's like an AI feature that's probably been around in Gmail for 10 years that most people don't even know that it exists. And it's a way to train Gmail. Hey, this is important and this isn't.
Right.
And just like that thing alone, like 80% of business owners don't, and 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds don't understand that it exists.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of QuickBooks because it now knows like which categories the expenses go into.
Right.
Most of the time.
Right.
It gets confused if it's like PayPal, and PayPal was once like a payment for a speech, and one time it's like
for sure
payment for something else, and it's like, what is this? But I would say 90% of the time it gets the right category, which means that it takes me like literally 10 seconds to categorize my expenses on QuickBooks, which is an annoying thing that business owners have to do.
Right. And even just stuff like your Apple Watch. Like, do you have an Apple Watch?
I don't.
Okay. Well, again, like I'm a big fan of like the Apple ecosystem and just having all the different tools that work together. And I have the Apple Watch and it's like my little assistant that I just boss around all day. And I always use the example of the shopping list. Like there's they're in reminders, the Apple native reminders list. There's a shopping list feature where you choose groceries as the type of the list. And then you can add things to the grocery list with Siri and all kinds of stuff, and it will auto categorize it for you. So if I say add bread to the shopping list, it's going to put it in bakery. If I say add bananas to the shopping list, I'll put it in produce. And I share that list with my husband. So he just goes to the store. He doesn't even have to ask me what we need. It's already in there. So like 4 days ago, I was in my bathroom washing my face and we were out of, I never know how to pronounce it. Is it micellar water?
Oh yeah.
Right.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know what it is.
Yeah. We were out of like micellar water. And so I just pressed and held on my watch, said like, add micellar water to the shopping list. Never thought about it again. He comes home like a week later and he was like, is this what you needed? And I was like, huh? And he shows me micellar water and I was like, oh my God, it's like magic. Because if he had gone to the store and said, hey, I'm going to the store, do you need anything? I would have been like, oh, I'm good. Yeah. I don't know. I'm good. But because I took the 3 seconds to boss my assistant around and then my other assistant went to the store, my micellar water appeared. So it's like that kind of stuff that it's like reducing the mental load and like letting the tech work for you that just like gets me all excited.
I love it. I love it. This is definitely something I feel like can support moms, business owners. It's just something we all need. So I would encourage listeners to think about, what was the first step in your Indigo process?
Identify your pain points.
Yes. So I would encourage listeners to think about, what are your pain points with technology or with life? Because like I wouldn't think of groceries as a tech problem, right? So like almost zoom out, like what are the pain points? And the pain points could also be, I know we didn't talk about this, but they could also be physical organizing. Like I know, that's a huge part of your career and how you got here. Like maybe your pain points are a combination of both too. It's like the fridge is a mess and I don't have a good system for my groceries. So maybe it's a combination of things too. But I would start there and think about some of the things we've talked about in this episode to just be a spark for you to just create some more ease.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd want to leave listeners with that we haven't talked about that you feel like is helpful?
Well, I hope that by the time this episode airs, I'm hoping to get like a cool quiz going on my website where you can kind of identify, like I can help them identify the pain points, where you'll answer a bunch of questions and it'll tell you like, okay, your tech trap is blah, blah, blah. And this is what, choose your own adventure. This is kind of what we recommend. So that'll be a fun thing for people to try out to figure out their own tech trap.
Amazing. So we'll put that in the show notes. And thank you so much for coming on the show and for helping me.
Fun.
I'm looking forward to trying my photo app, and I'm going to play with some flags and email.
Yes.
And I'm going to think more about the groceries too. I like that suggestion.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, because I do use an app for groceries. I use Cozy. Do you know that app?
Yes.
We use it for our groceries and our shared calendar.
Uh-huh.
It's good and bad because like you said, with like having things different places, it doesn't integrate with my work calendar. So I have to like put like mom's traveling on that calendar.
Right.
So about that. But I do add all the groceries and I do it in real time, like you said. But it would be nicer to just tell someone to add it as opposed to like taking the time to type it. Especially when Michael might be screaming, or like taking my eye off him for 5 seconds could lead to him falling on his face on the tile on the kitchen floor. So like,
yes,
I like that thought.
Right. And most people don't know that it exists.
Yeah, I have so many little takeaways. So thank you so much. This is so
welcome. Thanks for having me.
Helpful. And I think it's a just wonderful topic for our listeners.
Thanks.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. And we will link all of Amanda's info in the show notes if you want to connect with her. And I will catch you in the next episode.